Hello and welcome to another video from Alberta Bushcrafter. Today I'm going to go into a topic that's really near and dear to my heart because it's time for me to get a new one pretty soon. It'll be about tents. So I've actually ordered some tarps from China. The only reason I ordered it from China on AliExpress is because the price was 75% less than what I'd pay here. And we'll see what they're like when they get here. They could just be nylon. They may not even have a waterproof coating. We'll see. But like I said, for 40 bucks for a couple of tarps, I'm not going to complain too much. Did have to have a bit of problem with specifying the color, though. I hope they do come in the color I want. Bright orange isn't really big for me for sleeping under. I kind of like them a little darker. So that segues into today's topic, which is tents. I've actually got a couple of my old tents out here, and I've been just, once a year, I open them up and look at them. Actually, my main ones. This year, though, I actually went to an auction and picked up a couple of, looked like pretty El Cheapo tents, and they're only about 10 bucks a piece, so just set one of them up beside me. And so today's topic is bad tent design, because this is one of the worst looking tents I've ever seen. So we're going to go over this tent. And again, a lot of bushcrafters don't necessarily use tents, they use tarps. Well, I happen to use tents. I may get a hammock one of these days. But right now, tents are my main shelter in the bush. So we're going to look at a bad one here. There'll probably be another video on what's a little better. But yeah, so come with me. We'll take a look. I'll give you some of the points on what not to look for in a tent. And the other thing you want to do is always, I don't know, I've talked to people and so on have had big problems with buying tents online. Unless they know exactly what they're looking for, you can get a real lemon. So I'm going to show you some things to watch out for. Okay, number one, this is what they would call a two-person tent. A two-person backpacker's tent. Now look at one thing to begin with. You better know your camping partner really well if that's going to be a two-person tent. That's going to be tight. Just for comparison, here is me. And here is another me. That tent is less than 6 feet long, so I wouldn't even fit in there without smothering myself against the bottom of the tent. So be very careful with two-person tents. I always add a person, honestly. This would be a very snug one-person tent for a short person. Second thing is the door. This, for one, is not mosquito netting. Secondly, that's as far as the door opens. Another thing I don't like are these T-type doors. I like the D. So you got one zipper all the way around. Here, you've got a spot that does not close. 3 zippers there. It's a nice light color and everything. I've even tried it. Those ties do not quite hold back those doors. Third, let's have a look at something a little closer. There are only 4 guy lines on this tent, 1 on each corner. Now that means you get a good wind, they'll loosen. This is not great. The fourth thing, let's zoom in. Right there. This is a no-no on all modern tents. No fiberglass poles. Fiberglass poles were great in their time, but they're no good now. If you ever want the mark of a cheap tent, it'll say fiberglass poles. I've had these snap. I've had pieces go into my hand. Not fun. Fifth, zoom out here. Yeah, sorry, we got the logo there. This is a play tent, folks. But look at that little black thing on top, about the size of a handkerchief. This is what passes as a rain fly on a cheap tent. That's garbage. That's it. That's not even going to catch the rain going sideways underneath the top, and there's a big mesh opening on the top. But yeah, there's no guidelines. There should be at least 2 more stakeout points here along the edge. See down there? There should be 2 more. There's 1 on each end. There should be a fly that reaches right to the ground. You see where the black meets the white? That's called a bathtub floor. That's actually polyurethane tarp material on this one. You get better stuff on most tents. But your fly wants to go right down to the ground, not even just the edge of that. If you can take it right to the ground, better. The other thing is there is no other support on this except for the frame. So yeah, this is going back in the bag, and we'll sell it at the next garage sale. Okay, one more actually a few more things about tents like this. It came with this. It came with the tent bag. This is the bag that the pegs came in. Pegs themselves are tiny little, like skewer pegs, not very strong at all. You can almost bend them with your hands. Notice one thing is missing. There's no bag for the tent poles. And these are quite long. These usually go on the outside of your pack. So there's another thing. I hate these little polyurethane bags. They really stink. They're tough to tie, they're tough to untie. I prefer nylon, something a little heavier grade. One saving grace, not even saving grace, but one good thing about these poles, they are shock corded. That's a big thing you want with your tent. Really good tent, you'll have the poles shock corded. So in a pinch, if you got to set it up really quick, you don't have, you know, one piece missing or one piece lying on the ground, or forget one piece, and everything goes together quickly. If your tent is not shock corded, if it's possible, shock cord it yourself. It's not difficult. So there's a few more things about bad tents. You need a pull bag. It's almost essential. You can buy them extra as well, but they're, you know, 10, 15 bucks. You want a decent bag for your pegs so they don't go through it and penetrate your tent, but you also don't want something like this that's tough to untie, and you know, you want shock corded poles. There's a few more things to consider. A lot to consider, and this is why a good tent is not cheap. So there is a quick little course in crappy tent design. It's not normally the fabric. What you want is a tent with a rain fly. So that just keeps everything off the tent. My main tent is a 3-season tent. It's got a big mesh top on it. I'm not that much of a fan of that either anymore. So I've actually got 1 or 2 models I'm looking into. I might actually go back to the old A-frame style tent, because for their, you know, for their size, they're very, very light compared to the other tents. This one's only about 3 pounds too, but it doesn't have a rain fly. It doesn't have the extra stakeout points, thus it doesn't have the extra stakes. This thing may be really good if the kids want to have a sleepover in the backyard, but that is about it. This wouldn't last one night on a real outdoors camping trip. So those are a few points to look at. We're going to be going into tents in more detail as things turn up. Like I said, there might be an A-frame type tent in my future, maybe a different type after, you know, other than that. I'm looking around a lot, and I don't want to spend a lot of money, because tents, I mean, certainly if you spend $100 and up, you can get sometimes an okay tent. I'd say still though, for even a 2-man, you're looking in the 150 range, maybe even double that. If you're looking for a decent 4-season tent, you're looking at triple that. There's a tent called the Lightfield from Mountain Equipment Co-op, for example. It's a beautiful 4-season tent. It's got tie-outs all over the place, and well, yeah, it's in the I believe it's over $400, maybe even closer to $500. Not something I might pick up just this year, but might be something I want someday. Anyways, thanks for watching the Alberta Bushcrafter YouTube channel. This has been a just a brief look at how not to buy a tent So, bad tent design 101. My name's Dean. Thanks for watching. Take care, and good day.